Hey everybody, welcome back for part 5 of the smoker build. This is the second to last video for this series. Regardless of how much I have to put into the 6th video of this, that will be the last one of building the entire project. There might be something down the road a little bit that involves the smoker when it's all done, but that's still in the planning stage, so we're going to ignore that all for right now. But today, for part 5, I will be cutting the hole in the bottom of the tank where the smoke box and the tank will actually meet up. I will be doing the smokestacks, and I'll be making the stands that will actually go under the smoke box and the tank to be installed on the trailer. And I might get into starting the prep work for the trailer a little bit. As we know, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just doing things until I eventually have a project done. So, let me show you how I did it.
To start out actually putting the tank and the smoke box together, we realized the little cart that I have the smoke box on is too tall for how we had the tank set up. So we grabbed a couple 2x4s and set them under there. So hopefully the height worked out right, and luckily enough it actually sat right where we wanted it. So Adam and I measured out, make sure it was center, and then I'm going to go through and mark out the actual outline of the tank, well, on the tank of the smoke box, where I'm going to cut out the hole for the smoke to actually go into the tank. After we got the layout done, we flipped the tank over, and now I'm going to go through with the plasma, cut out the hole, and then I will grab the grinder just to grind the edge a little bit just to clean it up, so hopefully I don't cut myself on it when I have to, actually work with it later on. And the last step that I wanted to do before I flip the tank back over, I'm taking some rounds that I had that I was going to use for stands for little projects or something, but I thought they'd be better used plugging the holes on the backside of the tank, because they have to be filled, otherwise smoke's going to pour out of them, and that's what the smokestacks are for, so we're going to make sure to get those plugged. With everything done, I needed to flip the tank over, but unfortunately Adam wasn't here this time, and I'm stubborn and refused to wait for somebody to come help me, so I just did it by myself. Honestly, it actually wasn't that bad. I did get nervous a couple times though. But now that it's flipped over, I put the layout for the smokestacks on. I'm gonna cut them out. And honestly, I wish I would have cut these holes out and used these cutouts for the holes on the back of the tank, but unfortunately, the tank was not flipped correctly for it, and I wasn't flipping it a bunch of times just to get these circles. I had other circles. These were good. So I'm gonna finish cutting these out. I'll clean up the actual outer diameter of the holes, and then I'm gonna move on to showing you how I made the smokestacks. For the smokestacks, I am using 3-inch pipe. I cut 2 little pieces of 1/4 inch angle that I cut down to 1 inch, and I'm going to be welding them to the side of the pipe, and I will line up the plates that I'm using for the covers later on, and then I'll drill a hole straight through everything to make sure that they stay lined up, and then I will bolt everything together and they'll be ready to go onto the actual tank. And now I'm going to switch over to Giant's View to show you the rest of the assembly of the smokestacks, and then I'm going to go back over and start putting them on the tank. With the stacks done, I went over to put them on the actual tank. I was going to square everything up, but the top of the tank isn't flat, so I can't really square anything properly to anything else, so I just went with the tried and true method of eyeballing it. Usually works out, and actually, now that I got them all done, they look pretty good, except for the tank is warped a little between them, but I can't really fix that, so we're just gonna call it good and move on to making the stand that the actual smoker tank will sit on the trailer once I get there, but that's later. We'll get there, don't worry. For the stand, I am using 2x2, I think it's 1/4 inch pipe. I don't know, I had a big chunk left over from the spider I built last year. If you haven't seen the spider videos, go check that out, because they're still on my channel. You can watch, whatever. So I am using the leftover from that project. Unfortunately, I did run out and I had to go get more of it. And also, unfortunately, I still don't have a good saw for cutting miters. So once again, I just cut them all by hand. And they definitely weren't as close as the angle frames for the trays that I did. But they're close enough, and weld fills gap. Well, at least if you're a halfway decent welder, you should be able to weld a gap. So fingers crossed that I'm a halfway decent welder. The problem with the large pipe that I put on the back is I was bowed out a little bit, and I wanted to try to pull the ends in a little so everything stayed square. But unfortunately, I don't have a pipe clamp long enough, so I just grabbed 2 pipe clamps, and now I'm going to hook them together and hope it works. But of course it works, because I'm doing it right there. You can see it. Yay, it worked. A little tip tap with a hammer, and we're tacking, and now I'm gonna weld it all up, and we will get it off of my table, because this honestly took me a little bit, and it's been eating up all of my table space, and I have other things that I gotta do, so I'm gonna toss this thing back on the floor, and then I'm gonna go out into the big part of the shop, and we will start messing around with the trailer. Now I'm moving on to the trailer, where I'm going to take off all of the little bolted on accessories on the outside, and then I'm gonna cut these tie down brackets. I don't know, I'm not a boater. I just bought a trailer that was made for a boat. The little arm things, I'm gonna cut those off because I don't need them. And honestly, one of these times I'm gonna walk around this trailer and smoke my shin on one, and I will probably lose it. So we're gonna make sure to cut those off right now. See, this thing, I'm gonna cut off all of these. There's 4 of them, just cut them off, and I'm not gonna make you sit here and watch me cut all 4 of them off. I'm just gonna show you how I cut this one off. Unfortunately, I didn't cut through the weld enough. I did knock that cover off. Apparently there was a light bulb in this thing at one point, and for some reason I didn't want to keep cutting it, so I started smashing it with a hammer. I had a bit of a bad day that day, so good stress relief. Just sit here and wail on this thing excessively, when at any time I could have, right here, grabbed the cutoff wheel again and actually just finished cutting it off. But smashing something with a hammer really does the trick on a bad day, so I'm kind of okay with it. The last piece I had to remove from the trailer were the 2 fenders, because I want to get behind them and make sure that I clean all of that up for paint later. And I might be doing something a little fun and special with the fenders, but you'll have to wait till way later than right now to see it. I went through with a wire wheel at first just to clean up a bunch of random loose paint spots and whatnot. Unfortunately, I did this on the worst day I ever could have. It was like 90 something degrees out and even worse in the shop. So I decided to clean it up a bit, grind the spots where I needed to weld, and then I'm just gonna call it a day, and I will clean it up on a day where I'm not melting. Look at me. Look at me. All sweaty and gross. Yeah, let's be done with this. I waited for a cooler day, then I put the trailer back into the shop. Adam came over to help me place the stand for the actual smoker tank, and we got it all tacked in. He got the front, but then his office worker-ness was showing, and he thought he could go over the top of the stand. But, you know, I'll give him some slack. He's not a welder. Plus, he keeps coming over to help me, so maybe I shouldn't talk smack since, you know, he's actually helping me do this. Now, the time has come to put the tank on, and luckily, another one of my friends loved me. Kevin gave me this awesome hydraulic lift table, so Adam and I didn't have to pick the tank up off the ground to get it up on the stand, which made it way easier because this thing isn't super light, so having it a good bit off the ground really helped us out. And now we're gonna go through, tack everything in. Unfortunately, I noticed that there is a bit of a gap on this side, so I walked over to the side to grab my clamp, and Adam tacks the side of the stand. While I'm walking away, I can't even see what's going on, and I yelled at him, "What are you doing?" And he's just standing there laughing at me because he didn't tack anything that mattered. He just wanted to mess with me. So actually, I'm okay talking the trash that I was talking earlier because he did this to me. So now we're just gonna call it even now, and hopefully we don't continue to keep messing with each other. Oh, of course we will. What else do we have to do? With everything tacked in, I gave it a good shake, make sure my tacks didn't break. Everything seems good. And now that our task is complete, obviously we completely lost focus on everything we were doing, and now we're just kind of messing around because honestly, we get off track so easily. Now that I have the tank tacked in, everything I add from here on out will get in the way of getting to the welds underneath the tank. So I'm gonna go through now, weld everything up, make sure it's all good to go. Honestly, this was kind of a pain because I don't fit. I'm too big. I should have just tried to sit here and do it from this side the entire time, but you know, hindsight's 20/20. You learn. With the tank and the frame welded up, I am now going to go through and add all of the frame brackets, whatever you want to call it, that will actually hold the smoke box to the back of the tank and to the trailer. Once again, I had to cut all these miters by hand, and they're a little better than the miters that I did on the smoke tank frame, which is good because I wanted all of this to sit right where it needed to be. I actually just measured from the highest point to the lowest point and then just traced the line down at an angle, and I only had to grind each of the pipes a little bit. So I'm gonna call it a success because I'm not very good at them. Instead of making you sit here and watch me make the last part of the frame, I'm just gonna tell you what I did. I used more of the 2x2 tube, capped one end, and cut and mitered a short piece to go, obviously, from the horizontal piece to the trailer, because I really didn't want to have to figure out how to miter the two pieces at a 45 and then whatever angle the bottom had to be. So I got lazy and did something for myself and just did it the easy way. Don't blame me. I've done a lot of work on this thing. I'm gonna cut one corner. One corner is fine, leave me alone. Now I'm gonna measure, make sure that the span between them is correct. It was slightly off, so I just had to tap it a little bit, but of course I hit it too hard and it went too far, so I'm now going to gently tap it back. And now that I have it in the right spot, I'll tack it in, and I'm going to weld all of this up. And the next video, we're gonna start right where we left off. I am going to add the smoke box, and then we will do the other 3 steps that are going to take forever. But there's only 3 steps left, and the entire project is done. Isn't that exciting? We don't have to keep building this thing anymore. I'm joking, it's been a lot of fun. Thank you for coming to check out today's video. If you like what I did, like, share, comment, subscribe. Scream at some random person walking by that has no idea what you're talking about. It'll be a fun story later on. Thanks for watching.